Welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about a couple of cool features that we have on my van. We've installed on a customer's van as well today. And these are some pretty key performance upgrades, especially when you're at altitude, have a heavy van, you have a lead foot, or you're towing. And it has to do with cooling and your oil care. You might notice on my van, you've seen it in the pictures probably, some people have asked, what is this in the bumper? So this is an integrated oil cooler that we've plumbed into the engine oil system on the van. It has two 12-volt fans on the back of it, thermostatically controlled. If you look inside the engine bay here on my rig, you can see that we have an insane diesel bypass filtration system. So the way that this works is you still retain your factory oil filter, but there's a different cap that goes on top of that oil filter, and it allows oil to flow through the filter over here to the bypass filter. So this has a 1 micron replaceable filter element in it. We run the oil into that filter. It comes out, runs all the way down to the oil cooler here, which is in the wind. It's getting cool just as you're driving. Plus it has the fans should you get so hot to where they need to kick on. Then it runs back here to your oil return on your fill cap. Along with the bypass filtration, which is replaceable, along with your standard filter, you replace those at every normal service interval. We do oil analysis at a third-party oil analysis facility. So we'll drain the oil, we'll take a sample and send it in, and then we know exactly what's going on with that oil. We've done a lot of testing with these guys. I always do oil analysis on my rigs and a lot of customers' rigs. Even if they don't request it, a lot of times we'll just test it and just see. People that come in with 20,000 miles between services, people that are coming in with 10. And it is pretty eye-opening how dirty your oil can get under certain conditions. So that's the oil system. Over here we have our auxiliary transmission cooler. We've been using this for a while now in a couple of vans of ours, or a couple of show vans, and put it in a lot of customers' rigs. This is an auxiliary 19-row cooler. We mount it in front, right here behind the grill. It's thermostatically controlled as well, so you don't have to run a switch. You don't have to worry about turning it on or off. It just kicks on as needed, and it ties into the existing transmission cooler system that is already in place. So on the new 19 and up Sprinters, they have a transmission cooler here in the front. It's just very small. And what we noticed is that running a heavy van, towing a load, or being at altitude and running up the passes really hard, it's easy to get your transmission temps and your oil temps to the point where your engine will basically derate you. It'll put you into a safe mode. You don't really notice that it's doing it until you crest the top of the hill and you go to downshift to have some engine braking, and it's locked you out of the paddle shifters. Many people have experienced this climbing hills or just going down the freeway at 80 miles an hour into the wind, right? They'll go to downshift and they can't. Or they'll notice, it feels like there's not as much power as there should be. It feels like I'm derated. They'll try the paddles and they'll realize they've been locked out. So that's due to your transmission and your oil temps getting too hot and it shutting you down to a safe mode. So my last van, we had both coolers on, and that thing was super, super heavy. And I tried as hard as I could to get it to shut down into a derated mode, and I couldn't get it to. This is summertime, climbing passes in Utah, and the coolers kept it cool enough to not have it shut down into that safe mode. So I've been really, really happy with it, to the point where I'm happy to put this on customers' vehicles and stand behind it and know that it works right. So we're seeing anywhere from a 20 to 40 degree drop in transmission temps and engine oil temps with this setup. So the transmission cooler we can put on pretty much any 2019 and up Sprinter. It's an easy install. Behind the grill tucks in, the wiring is quite straightforward, so that's a pretty easy install. The oil coolers, you can see we cut it into the bumper here. Not a lot of people like that look. Not everybody has an aluminous bumper with a spot that just happens to fit one. So those are a little bit tricky, so it's kind of a case-by-case basis on whether or not we can put one into your van. Sometimes we'll run them underneath the van in a remote location and mount it, with some bracketry underneath, kind of in the engine bay. I like it up in the wind because it helps keep it cool just as you're moving. You don't have to rely on the fans, but that's kind of a case-by-case deal. Yesterday we worked on this customer's van here. He did the transmission cooler a while back. It worked really well for him, but he was still on occasion getting put into a derated mode. So we went ahead and put the oil cooler into his Illumines bumper. It just so happened to work out that he had the bumper on already, so we were able to do it. And this customer is notorious for really pushing the limits on how hard he runs his van. He's always got boats on the top, pulling a trailer with dirt bikes, and then running like 80 miles an hour still. And so this will be a really good test to see just how well the system works, because I know he'll put it to the limit. So that's a quick overview of our oil cooler systems. These really complement our performance package as well. The ECM tune that adds a lot of horsepower, the high flow air filter, the intakes. Running big tires, you're running heavy, or you're towing a trailer, especially at altitude. These are super beneficial options that will really help protect your engine, protect your transmission, keep the fluids fresh, and help you enjoy your drive without getting locked out of the paddle shifters and having it derated. So let us know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.